And then there's even a news report thing about how, like, it shows the computer, and it's like this old, like, 90s computer.
Yeah.
Maybe even older than that. It was like, had a red light, a green light, and like a little flicky switch.
Yeah.
And it's like, so when the command comes down to set off nuclear warfare, it will be sent to this computer here, which then they have to insert this floppy disk, and it's about this big of a floppy disk.
Oh, one of like the old,
the
like,
old,
8-inch
old ones.
Holy crap.
And that is how they control our most deadliest weapons.
Wow.
It's just like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's kind of crazy. Jeez.
And then he even proceeds to go on about how,
According to police, an explosion
how
at the dockside warehouse
America's almost killed themselves with their own nuclear weapons more times than they've actually used a nuclear weapon.
emergency workers are still on the scene.
He says, like, how there was one time where, I don't remember if it was a bomber or a stealth pilot ship or something like that was carrying two nuclear missiles.
Yeah.
When the plane itself just cracked in half in midair.
What?
And both missiles armed fell over North Dakota, I think it was.
Yeah.
They both landed. One of them was a dud. So that means, like, they could actually have, like, half of the nuclear weapons that they're paying this much money for could be duds. Like, we have no idea. And the other one hit the ground, became armed, but didn't go off.
Wow.
And there's even, like, a memorial in North Dakota saying, like, location of almost a nuclear mishap. And John Oliver was just like, no, that sign should be changed to, oh fuck, you don't know what almost happened here.
It's true though, man. Like, did it say like what would happen if one of them actually like went off? Like, would it
Well,
just like
he
obliterate?
did say like that it would probably have wiped out North Dakota, and he goes, but that's fine. That's why you got 2 Dakotas to begin with, just in case something
They got
like that
sold,
happened.
so you're good. That's funny.
And like, I just can't believe that. And then he said even that there was another incident that happened more recently,
Yeah.
where they loaded up 5 or 6 or something nuclear warheads. Like, it showed like a little platform thing with like warheads like that lined up in it.
Yeah.
Onto a, I think it was like a B-51. Is that a plane?
Yeah.
It's a big plane though, right? Like a.
I don't know exactly. I know I've heard of it. I've heard the name before,
Well,
but I don't know.
I might be wrong about the plane name. That's fine though. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about here.
Okay.
Anyways, they were loaded up into this plane as like a cargo, and nobody knew that they were on there
Yeah.
until 36 hours later.
What?
Yeah, so like nobody knew that they were loaded up onto this plane. No one knew that they were being brought anywhere. Nobody even, like, nobody. I mean, even the people that probably loaded them on didn't know what they were.
Jeez.
And like John Oliver even goes on to say, like, could you imagine that realization? Like, hey, what are those things that have been sitting there since yesterday? Those are oh shit!
That's what I think they are.
So they just, it wasn't even like a U.S. force plane runway or anything that they were just left on the side of for like 36 hours.
Holy frick.
So just think, like, if a terrorist saw that and was like,
I wonder.
yeah, maybe I should, shoot a gun into that or
Yeah.
steal one.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. But this is all recently that all this stuff has happened?
No,
Or is
like
this,
the North Dakota one was like years ago. Or
Oh,
something.
okay.
But like I think the plane one was more like in the last 10 years, where they had like just let them sit outside,
Yeah. That's funny.
collect rain. If it started hailing, shit might go wrong.
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
But like, he even said, like, you guys almost killed yourselves with your own weapons more than you've used them in a fight.
Yeah.
Why do you need this many? You should lower the amount to a reasonable amount where you can actually sustain what you have, and not leave them on a fucking runway.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know, and it's just like so much money is going into this. Like, you can reduce taxes if you got rid of them, basically.
That's what a lot of Americans say too. The amount of money that they spend, you could cut that. You could spend a quarter of what you spend.
Yeah,
on,
basically.
and still be the number one.
Like, just think, the reason why Americans got so mad about the Obamacare thing was because it kind of, like, raised taxes by, like, 1% a year. So, like, if you're paying 13%, it's 14% now. And that's it.
Yeah.
And, like, that... It's understandable that you get kind of pissy about tax. But if you think about it this way, 1% of your daily income, let's say you make 25 grand a year. That's like just above minimum wage.
Yeah.
That's $250 a year. But if you look at one of their like bills, like I've seen people posting bills of their hospital bills, like for breaking an arm, and it's like 90 grand.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
$250 a year to save on 90 grand for one broken arm.
Yeah, it's
Like,
a little.
where did your math problems go wrong where you thought that was a terrible idea?
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm sure, like, the argument was, like, well, what if I never break an arm? It's like, well, what if you do?
Mm-hmm. What if something worse happens to you?
What if you need...
What if you lose an arm or a finger? Or...
And then at the same time now, let's say they got rid of all these nuclear weapons. Let's say it take them 5 years. That means in 5 years' time, after that time's gone, your taxes could be decreased by, like, 10%. Mm-hmm. For a few years because of that. Or, 1% for 100 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it, man. I'm sure
the numbers are a bit more skewed than what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a worthwhile trade-off.
Yeah. No, that's messed up. I'm sure, like, the main people that were saying that they didn't want, like, Obamacare were people that were already covered, they...
Yeah, the ones that like, wealthy 1%.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many people actually took advantage of the Obamacare thing.
And actually, John Oliver went on Obamacare too about that.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Yeah, and he said like he
it
was
was
even
good.
saying how like great of an idea it was and how great it was and why he doesn't understand why people rejected it.
Yeah.
And even showed like videos of people that were on it and people that weren't on it and people that were suffering because their state didn't offer it.
Oh, okay. Wow. I thought it was like a whole like. Once he introduced it, like anybody in America could take advantage of it. But it's only certain states.
Sort of, but some states they're like governors, I guess, or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know how American politics work. They like rejected it and like didn't put like they were given like a certain amount of money for it, but they only put like half the amount in.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Because they chose to opt out. And then Obama even had like an upgraded version of it, but like only like 5 states or something accepted it.
Really?
It's messed up.
That is messed up.
A lot of the people that are refusing it are people like are rich and wealthy like governors and stuff that have personal doctors.
Yeah, yeah. So they don't have to worry about it, right?
Of course not. The people making the decisions for you are the ones that don't need it.
Mm-hmm. Sad. I thought I saw the health somewhere around here.
And, like, I'm not saying I know what's going on in America.
No, I mean this is kind of just our.
But from what I've learned about the John Oliver show is like everything he states has proof and backup in it. He just presents it in a sarcastic, joking way.
Yeah, like satirical, I think the word is, where it's
satire.
Satire, yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Ooh.
a mutant thing. I think he's armored.
Yeah.
Oh, not anymore. Nope.
Yeah.
What is going on with this guy? Melee him, maybe?
It was a super one.
But yeah, like, it's just, what went wrong in this system?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
And it even... What was I going to say next? Oh, yeah. About the nuclear weapon things. The guy that was... There was a guy trying to propose a bill because, Obama was trying to shut down a bunch of the nuclear silos and get them, like, dismantled and destroyed and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been a good thing.
Yeah.
But, one of the people that wrote a bill to pass to make it so that the time that it would have to be dismantled by to be non-existent. So, like, like, they could start dismantling now, but the time that all of them have to be the amount that he wants dismantled by,
Yeah.
no end date. So you can just keep procrastinating for as long as you want, basically.
Really?
And his reasoning behind it was, what if we need them in the future? It would cost more money to build them again than it would to destroy them now. And it's like, what kind of argument is that? You're spending like $320 billion a year to keep these things that you're not going to use, when you're saying it would be more expensive to build it 20 years down the road when you don't need it for those 20 years.
Yeah, I guess that's just the cost of maintaining maintaining them would far outweigh the cost of having to build them if
exactly.
you were to.
And just think, like, they've already probably had them for like 20 years that they didn't need them.
Yeah, so that's billions and billions.
Like,
that
I think 10 is enough. You know, you can destroy a couple nations with that shit.
Yeah.
You don't need enough to destroy the planet several times over.
No, for sure. And that's the ridiculousness of it. Is they have so much arsenal and all this stuff that they wouldn't need half
Like how?
of it.
Let's say you even reduced it to 1,000, which could destroy the planet a couple times over. That's still 1/5 of what you have already.
Yeah.
And 1/5 of like $320 billion is a lot saved.
Oh, for sure.
Every year.
Yeah. But there's people out there, I guess, that they just
And
all
also,
they care about is force. And
because it's going to cost more to build it in the future. You go that way. You came from that way.
Okay.
But, like, at the same time, it's like, but you don't need 4,800 and something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially, like, I mean, we went to war with the terrorists and all that stuff, but, like, you don't need nuclear weapons to fight terrorists.
And one of those would destroy, like, 2 or 3 Iraqs.
Yeah, you know? So, I mean, the last time that we actually needed... We never really needed nuclear, but the last time we were actually in, like, a war with another nation was like, World War II? No, Vietnam War or whatever the hell it was.
I don't think they would have needed a nuke for that, though.
No, but
You
I'm
would've
just saying
destroyed
that's
their whole
the
nation.
last time we were even in, like, a war with, like, another country kind of thing. So... Or the U.S.
And the Cold War was merely like, you know, like, oh, we got this many that we could shoot you with. Oh, well, we got this many that we could shoot you with.
Exactly, yeah. So that wasn't really a war, per se.
So, yeah, like, that's just weird.
So, really,
it's
it's like decades that you've been sitting on these things.
Yeah.
You haven't even needed to use them, so... A lot of waste money.
Mm-hmm.
Pass there, or is it just really gonna hurt me?
You can jump down there.
That's probably what I gotta do.
Yeah, like, it just mind boggles me, especially the fact that they just leave them out in the open and they have unexperienced people taking care of them.
Mm-hmm. Propping the freaking door open with a crowbar.
Texting the answers to each other.
That too.
What?
You say what the sergeant was fired or whatever?
All
was
of them,
relieved
I
of
think,
his-
were relieved of their rank and position.
Yeah. Crazy. Is that out that door?
And there was even a funnier story too about that. How he was saying that, firstly, the when the president launches the signal, it gets passed down to a general, who then passes it down to the guy beneath him, who then sends it to these old computers where they need the big disk to read it, right?
Yeah.
And he was saying, is that a shotgun?
Yeah. I'm trying... Yeah, I gotta pick it up.
He was saying that, firstly, one of the generals, the first general that it would go through, was relieved of duty because he was caught gambling with counterfeit poker chips at a casino.
Jeez.
Think about that, though. The person holding the nation's secret codes to the strongest weapons can't even fool someone at a casino.
Yeah. Like, that's... Or somebody of that character would even try to do something
That too.
like that.
Like, how
and
much
this guy's
is his
supposed to-
salary? Like,
Yeah.
it's got to be ridiculously high that he can actually gamble. The fact that he gambles, though, is just push the button. I'm a gambler.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, nothing really wrong with gambling, you know, but I mean, with
No,
fake
but-
poker chips and stuff like you're trying, like,
But
obviously you're kind of
the moment
shady.
that, like, you're in that kind of position, firstly, you shouldn't have to gamble or want to gamble. Maybe if you were just doing, like, low-stakes poker night with the other sergeants or something.
Yeah, so it's mostly for fun or whatever.
But, like, the moment you're gambling for, like, high stakes, that's not someone I think should be in charge of things like that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like, if you want to be a professional poker player, don't be a general.
Yeah.
The second fact is that he shouldn't need to afford counterfeit with his kind of salary. And the third thing is, you know, that's just straight up breaking the law anyways.
Yeah.
No one should gamble with fake. No one should... I don't think gambling should be a thing anyways.
Oh, you don't, you like, at all? Like, even like casinos or anything like that?
Like, I think casinos are, you know, just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with lottery because most of the money goes to the government.
Yeah.
It's kind of like any money that's after you reach a certain amount, our money's capped, right?
Yeah.
Like, for the example, Lotto Max in Canada is usually around 50 million at max.
Yeah, and then they have the max millions or whatever after.
Yeah, but let's say they have 50 million and then the 50 max millions, which is the max. That's 100, right?
Yeah.
But even if there's 120 million, some of that goes to the government because that's used. Lottery is used from the government to finance things.
Oh, okay.
It's like a way to relieve taxes on us. Like that way, we're not getting charged like an additional 1%.
Yeah.
Instead, they're getting some money from the lottery.
Oh, okay.
It's like bonds kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's why it's government run. But casinos are not government run.
None of them are, or do they have?
I'm sure there's some that are probably, but
Yeah.
most of them aren't. So like, if you had a casino, you're forcing people to gamble. Well, not forcing, but a lot of people do become addicted to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The lottery's kind of fine because firstly, you're helping your country. Secondly, you're not really going in buying a ticket every 5 seconds because you lost the last ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one, it's like, $5, pull, oh, I lost. $5, pull, oh, I lost. $5, ooh, I won $5. That $5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I don't really have anything against casinos. I mean, like, I think it's up to the individual person, like...
Yeah, but some people, I don't think, have the qualifications to make their own decisions in that kind of situation.
Yeah, but I mean, is that really the casino's fault, or...
It is, because they're... What's the word?
Like, should the...
Catering to them.
But should the individual not be responsible for their own actions, though? And if they can't handle it...
But you see, that's an entirely different thing, though. It's like... I feel like they should have a cutoff point where they see someone gambling and losing too much. Oh, hello.
You just stay up there and just...
It's kind of like if you go to the bar. If there's a certain point of you've drank too much, they cut you off.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree that, there should be, if somebody's sitting at a fucking...
table for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Or like someone's literally losing the shirt off their back.
Yeah, then it's maybe a time, okay.
But no, they like pry on those kind of people. They want that kind of person.
Yeah, that sort of stuff, I guess I don't really...
Like, I'm not saying you have to be an honorable person to, like, start up a casino, but, like, at least have some fucking morals.
Yeah, stay there for, certain amount of time or lose a certain amount of money. But then again, I mean, it's really up to the individual person,
And I understand it's a business, but at the same time, your business is gambling. That's why gambling was outlawed for such a long time. But now they think, like, oh, people are smart enough to do it. It's like, no, they're still not smart enough.
But how do you feel with, like, regarding, like, cigarettes? Do you think people who are addicted to cigarettes, is it the company's fault, or is it
It's definitely the company's fault.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you think... I'm not talking about, like, the newer generation that are doing it, because the newer generation are either peer pressured or think it's cool.
Trying to be cool, yeah. Well, I think what most people start usually.
But back in, like, the 60s and before that, they actually advertised cigarettes as being healthy.
Yeah.
They'd say, like, oh, yeah, it would help you with... What the fuck?
Just a dead dude.
Yeah, wait, what did that say you could do to him?
Oh, I think it was just a pickup. It just said pick up fragmentation grenades.
I didn't see any grenades there.
How do I get that?
Psychic powers. Force lift.
Can I go anywhere in here?
It doesn't look like it.
Lose my light.
But yeah, so like a lot of people would think that they were like healthy back then, and that's what got people addicted to them.
Back in the day, I remember seeing advertisements from like the 60s or whatever that say smoking is supposed to help you when you're sick. Like it's supposed to make you feel better and lose weight.
You say you remember seeing advertisements in the 60s because you are not that old.
No, like there was like an email or something, and then my grandma sent me or whatever that had like a bunch of like advertisements from back in the day.
Which is why I'm kind of on the side of the government here, where they're doing that what's the thing? Bland advertising now. Have you heard about that law?
Where like all this cigarette boxes or whatever, it's like just one color now. It's like not.
Well, it does have multiple colors, but they can only use specific colors, and they're usually like gross looking colors, like puke green and like shit brown.
Turn people off from.
And they also always have to put like an advertisement on it about like like a toe tag on a guy's foot saying like cigarettes kill this many people a year.
Yeah.
or like what a lung looks like after smoking.
Well, they have that now, though, don't they?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That
Oh, yeah,
originally
in
it
line
was
with
just
that.
like the horrible imagery, but now it's bland. Like you can only have certain colors on it, which kind of enhance the grossness of like
Yeah.
the bad lung.
Oh, okay, I got.
And they can't use any of their like logos or anything like that anymore, like the Marlboro cowboy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I heard that they were gonna do stuff like that with like fatty like pop and
Really? So like
chips and-
instead of this Canada Dry container, it's gonna show like an obese guy on a couch.
they were thinking of doing stuff like that. Yeah, trying to deter.
I'll be your model.
But yeah, a lot of people are fighting back against that, obviously. Which
Well, a lot of people are fighting against it for the cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you guys ruin lives. Like that's kind of like your business.
But
Like, I'm finding like if people want to smoke like a cigarette a day, but those people that start smoking a pack a day, you gotta start reviewing your life here.
yeah.
And most of the people that I met that do that use the argument, you're gonna die sometime, you might as well die doing what you love. It's like, yeah, but what if you like smoke just one cigarette a day and live an extra 10 years and then you can die still doing what you love, just
Yeah.
not as frequently.
But I think because cigarettes are so addictive that I don't think many people... There are people probably out there that could only do like one cigarette a day, but I think a lot of them would probably...
But that's why I think that this is where I was going with the whole government thing about the... bland packaging.
Yeah.
Was that they should offer incentives to people to quit.
Like what? Like monetary...
Like, they can easily pretty much find out how much you smoke by your taxes, basically, since
Yeah.
cigarettes are actually taxed a little bit more than other things, just like booze.
Yeah.
There's a booze tax.
Okay. Yeah. I found it.
So, like, what if, like, if you stop smoking or something, or you highly reduce the amount you smoke, they give, like, a little bit more at your tax return time.
But how would they be able to keep track?
That's what I mean, though, because they know how much you're pretty much spending based on your how much taxes you're paying for smoke tax.
Yeah,
Because
so
you got to
it's-
kind of fill in those kind of things on your tax forms.
So... Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And what if
something like
what
that
if they even open a thing like you have to go to a doctor or something, and like register with them that you're a heavy smoker,
Yeah.
because your doctor will know that you're a heavy smoker.
Oh, yeah, they always tell for sure.
And it's probably already on record too.
Yeah.
So all they have to do is really look at those records.
Yeah, because I think with, like, medical insurance and stuff like that, like, you have to
Yeah.
divulge that information.
Exactly. So they can easily find out that kind of information of who's a heavy smoker, who's a heavy drinker.
Yeah.
Like, they got Alcoholics Anonymous. I know that doesn't really do much, but,
Yeah. Something, though. I mean,
like, little incentives here and there that, so